when I first started getting into raw food, which was probably in 2002, I think it was, and my son Jayman was my taste tester, and this was the first cake I ever made. And he used to tell me it wasn't good enough because it used to taste like avocado. It didn't taste like chocolate, Mum. You need to make it better. And yeah, this reminds me of him, and I'm just so grateful I get to share this for you. I used to sell this in my restaurant. I've seen it made in other health food stores, which is awesome. So people are taking the recipe and making it their own, and I love the versatility of this cake. So you can put it into, you can deconstruct it. In other words, you don't have to make it into a slice. You can make it into layers. You can use it. It's just so versatile. You can do pretty much anything. I like making it into a slice and putting different types of fruit on there. Raspberries are my favourite, and I've got a big slab of frozen raspberries here that are kind of, you know, kind of melting, which I want that kind of gooey raspberry deliciousness, this red gold to be, you know, seeping through the ganache, in other words. So this is really cool, really easy. So we're going to get onto the base first before we get onto the ganache. So yeah, this cake's actually Jayman's cake. So this is an awesome opportunity for me to share this with the world. So I've got some macadamia nuts, just some beautiful whole macadamia nuts. Just lovely and round. I mean, what was God thinking? Really? It's so hard to get into, but when you get into them, they're just beautiful, amazing creamy nut. I've got some sunflower seeds. These are tricky, these jars. Okay, got it. I've got some dates. I've got some dried dates. I've been using dried dates throughout the whole series. It just shows you the versatility, what you can do with sweeteners. You don't just have to use medjool dates, okay? It can be any kind of dried fruit, and I choose dry dates. Nature's candy right here. I've got some lovely cacao powder. It's really kind of cute because Jayman would never watch me make this cake, but he'd come downstairs and test it, you know, the age of like 10 or 11 and 12, and he'd be just like, yeah, no, it's nearly there. Mr. 𝗜𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗗𝗡𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗃𝗚𝗚𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 And then I want some lovely desiccated coconut that just smells so good. It's almost like a concentrate, you know, like coconut concentrate. So we're going to whiz this, and what I'm after, and what you're after, just a splash of water, is for this to become super doughy. Okay, so I want it to ball around, so form into a ball in this food processor, and become very sticky and quite doughy and rich. So let's have a look where we're at here. It's not quite there yet, look at that. It's very grainy and almost like a crumble, a delicious crumble. Need a pinch of salt. Keep blending with me. Okay, it's getting there. It's starting to get a little bit more texture to it, a lot more stickier and thicker. I'm going to just add a splash more water, just a little tiny bit, nothing too drastic. Okay, this will just help bind it. Let's have another look. A little bit more water. It does say 1 tablespoon in the recipe. Excuse me. But if you do decide to use prunes or medjool dates, they are a lot stickier, okay? The dry dates are very candy type, you know, they're quite crystallized, so that water will really bring that together. So keep going with me. This does take a few minutes to actually get that dough quite tight consistency. We're nearly there. Nearly there. Yeah, totally. I was just saying to the boys in the background, it's so different with medjool dates to dry dates. Medjool dates and prunes have a lot more stickiness to them. They have a lot more moisture to them and they bind really quickly, and I've had to add quite a little bit of water in here. So on your recipe, when it does say dry dates and you want to change that to medjool dates, just change that and just know that water added will you'll just have to check that out, okay, between dried and medjool, because there is a big difference. So this is coming together because I added about 3 tablespoons of water in there and the recipe says 1, so yeah, it is coming together. I just want it to form a ball, like a dough, to just roll around in this food processor. That's what you're after. And it's coming along now, actually, you can see that, it's starting to form. The oils start to split from the nuts and things start to roll out, so you have a look at that. That's what we're after, that really beautiful texture. Quite amazing, okay. All right, the next bit, we want some baking paper. Okay, you want to put that there, and you want to tip that onto your baking paper. See how that's come together? That's exactly what you're after. Then in my glorious sink, you want to turn this into a ball. Okay, and then you want another sheet of baking paper on top. This will just stop things from sticking on your rolling pin. So get this really well into a ball. Okay, you want to grab a rolling pin and you just want to press this out and roll it out. This is really freezer friendly. I've frozen this many times in the past. And depending how thick you want it, it's up to you. I don't want it too thick and I don't want it too thin. I kind of want it just right. What does that even mean? But I'm just being very gentle when I'm rolling, as you can see. So what I want to do is make my edges all even. So I'll just pop that there. Now watch this technique, what I'm doing to make this all as even as possible. Even sides, yeah? That's what you're after. Okay. It's awesome. Just muck around with it. Like you can just push this into a tin if you want to. Like I could do that now, but I just want to play. I just want to see what this feels like. I haven't made this cake in a very long time. Quite amazing. It's very decadent too. And yes, you can have this for breakfast, this one, definitely. Okay, this looks great. So what I want to do with this, I just want to, there's 2 things we can do with this. We can just leave it as it is, or we can turn it into a double layer. So that's just cutting it in half and putting that on top and then layering the ganache. But we'll start with making our ganache first. So I'm not going to clean this, okay, it's just as it is. Now the trick with this ganache is your avocados. Yes, God has a plan with avocados. It's like, oh, it's okay. Just be mindful of that, yeah. Because you buy avocados and they're so expensive, and then you open them up and they're, you know, not that great. That's Mother Nature, right? Nice, yummy, right one, 2. Get it all in your hands. Good for your skin. Okay, let me just wash my hands. You don't want avocados that aren't ripe because they actually can be quite bitter in this. I've done this before. So just be really mindful. You want them to be, you know, ripe. Oh, thank you. We have no say with this stuff. It's so funny, hey, like perfection is the lowest human form as far as I'm concerned because we can never, you just can't control it. This is great. These are great. Skins are coming off nicely. Awesome. And I just want, oh, that'll do, 2. 2 is good. 2 is enough. Maybe half of one more because they are quite small. Maybe this one, we'll see what this one comes out as. Well, you come out perfect. Yes. Not quite my kind of perfect, you know. Okay. Okay, we need dates. We need some dates. We need some dates. Sorry, it's been a fabulous day. Okay, lovely. How interesting is this for a cake? It's very interesting. Let me just clean up this a bit. Some delicious cacao powder. Okay, we want a bit of extra sweetener in here, so I want a bit of maple. Just to, you know, get things happening. What I mean by just get things happening, what I'm saying is that it's got the dates in there, but when you mix 2 sweeteners together, something happens. Actually, I learnt this in LA when I studied raw food in LA. Something happens, it balances out, it's quite delicious. So mix up your sweeteners. If I didn't want to put maple there and wanted to put another dried fruit in there, I'd put prunes, okay? Because there's something about those two isms coming together. It's kind of like honey and maple in chocolate, or, you know, really mix it up a bit. But yeah, that's why I do it. Now we're going to process this, and I don't want to even know that there's avocado in there. I don't want to feel that. Something Jayman was really great at. He'd come into the kitchen and he'd taste it, or he would get the end result and he'd go, "Mum, I can taste avocado." So you really want to get rid of that avocado flavour, okay? Because the avocado is actually going to act as our fluffiness, like our beautiful icing that's going to go on here. So I'm going to blend and we're going to check it out, scrape down the sides. And we're just going to see how we go. A pinch of salt actually is good to pull out flavour. All right, let's do it. Okay, we've been blending for a good minute. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. Let me just get some out to show you what it looks like. We want this creamy, yummy texture. How good does that look? Yum. 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 Okay. Okay, we are done. That's looking amazing. Oh my goodness. Ah, yes. Jayman, my boy, you'd be proud of me right now. Okay, check this out. This is what you're after. This really gooey chocolate. Oh, it's just, I don't even know how to explain this. How do I explain this? What is this? It's like icing, like a rich chocolate icing. It tastes divine. Okay, let me just get all this out. I don't want to waste any of this. But then again, Reuben over here will lick the bowl. Okay, let's get this out. Tricky business getting around the blades, isn't it? Oh yeah, there's a big chunk there. Okay. Oh yes. Bring it home. Bring it home. This is just beautiful. Who would ever have thought that you could whisk avocado with chocolate and a bit of sweetener and get that, like that fluffiness? Wouldn't it be awesome to put this through an icing bag and you'd get it like, we actually are going to do that with one of the cupcakes that we're going to create together. My little wee spatula. Okay, so what I'm doing with these spatulas is I'm just trying to get an even surface. Okay, I don't want it to be. You don't have to be perfect here. But remember, we're going to dress this. This is cool. So, but I am just trying to get, like, there's a big lump there. Bring it over here to the side. Very rustic looking. Okay, so don't get too hung up on this. Now, I'll give you some ideas of toppings. There is nothing better than toasting off coconut, which you have learnt throughout this series, and tossing it through fresh pineapple and putting that on the cake, just like maybe here, along here, and then putting raspberries here, and then getting some fresh strawberries from over here and putting it here, and then getting some fresh blueberries and putting it there. Okay, there's nothing wrong with using different toppings. So anything you like to use, please go ahead and use it. Now, if you decide to change this recipe and create your own topping of Epic Glory, please connect with me and tell me what you use, because I'd love to know. Okay? All right. This is the next bit. I have some raspberries here that have just been melting, and I want them to melt because I want this gooiness to go through the cake. Okay? So I'm just going to break it up, and I just want to put one side of this with Epic raspberries. This is just going to take this to the next level. All this iciness and deliciousness on here is just beautiful. This is one of our best-selling cakes at the restaurant. My friend Red Peters used to have this every time. Just a few more. Now I'm doing half strawberry, half raspberry, because I can. Hands washed. Now what I have done in the past, it's so epic. This cake is just so epic. I'm going to just turn it to the side so I can cut these strawberries up. What I have done in the past is drizzle with chocolate, which just takes it to the next level. Now I have a lot of chocolate, as you've made with me on this series, in the fridge, and I'm just going to get it out in a minute after I just smother this in these little red delicious berries. And I am leaving the green parts on because I want some colour. I want nature to be a part of this. You know, most chefs would take that off, but not this chef. Okay, just into quarters. Beautiful flavour these have. Get some more. It's great having all this stuff on tap. You know, this time of the year there's lots of berries around where I live anyway. Look at me packing this up. Oh, it's that good. Okay. Now, how, you're probably asking, do you get it off the chopping board? Good question. Good question, people. This one's going to go in the freezer. I have a tray here that I'm going to put it on upside down, or I'm going to have actually a bigger tray that I'm just going to slip it into and put it in the freezer, because I'm not going to obviously eat all this in a week. So it's going to be there on tap for me. I might, because the strawberries are fresh, keep this in the fridge for everybody here that's around coming into the studio this week. But this definitely, this gooey, berry part is just going to really make this cake. Okay, so we've made some chocolate, as you know, and I've got some in the fridge. This is a really, really good tip. So we made our chocolate earlier on in this series. So that's just the standard base chocolate, okay, that you've got that's been on the stove. Now, all I did was put it into the fridge, okay, and it gets quite thick. Look at this. It starts to get very thick and gooey, okay. It's quite amazing. So what I want to do is, first of all, put this in a tray. Put this in a tray. So it's in something. Okay. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then I want to get my chocolate and a spoon, and I just want to drizzle some of this all over this, like this. And as soon as it hits those really beautiful, juicy, semi-frozen raspberries, it's going to set like hard chocolate. Now, the reason why I put it in the fridge, your base chocolate, is so it's quite thick, so I can use it, I can work it. If it gets too thick, I'm going to put it back onto the stove, okay? I'm going to light my stove, and I'm just going to allow this to melt a little bit, just a little bit, okay? And that's how I'm going to get it back to that kind of not so stiff chocolate. So just give it like a minute or two, and then we can add it back onto there. I'm not going to cover the strawberries in this. My chocolate's gone super hard, so you notice how I poured it on there. And have a look here, Gungun. This is beautiful. It's set wonderfully. And then when I took it back over here and started whisking it, as you can see, it clumped up on me. Don't panic. I did for a minute. Don't panic. It's okay. Put it back on the stove, and then it will melt. As you can see, it's starting to melt now. So let me get that whisk, and I will give it a good whisk. Chocolate's quite tricky. It's a tricky little ism to deal with, actually. And what I find is I immediately go into panic. And when I just wait and calm and just see things starting to melt like this is doing, then I go, oh, okay, of course, But this particular base chocolate, you must measure this, okay? It's really, really important. And after it's been on the stove and you've made your chocolate, let it cool down first and put it into the fridge, and then bring it out to do what you need to do to decorate cakes and things like this. So I'm going to turn this off now. The heat's come right up, so that's awesome. And I'm just going to give this a nice little whisk. We'll be good to go. Good to go, people. Good to go. Look at this. Oh, it's glorious. So I'm really glad this happened. So you see how it just clumped up, and you just put it straight back onto. This is not boiling, remember, okay? It's hot, but it doesn't come to the boil. We don't need to heat this up drastically. Okay, this is good to go. It's beautiful, silky, delicious. Get all those lumps out. It's quite glossy. Perfect. Then grab your spoon and just go over, going this way on your ganache and raspberries. Now see all this oozingness of berry juices? This is what's going to make it so yummy when you eat it the next day. It's just going to be delicious. And the chocolate on top. Put some on the strawberry if you like. And that's it. There is Jayman's favourite ganache cake. Just beautiful. enjoy this. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to freeze that and I'm going to eat that with everybody else. I don't know what to say. What do I say? I have no words. Enjoy.
I'm trying to think of a corny joke with jam and traffic.
Don't.
It's just not working. So why did the blueberry and the strawberry cross the road?
Why?
It was trying to avoid the jam. Traffic jam.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Don't get the word. He's your mate.
Oh God, I know, right? Yeah, he's my mate. Oh, I got a boyfriend now. Jam. No? Jam? No. Bye.